Hey, welcome back. It is Snap and Yap number 9, I think. Now I decided to make this video because on Monday I talked about pushing this little point and shoot camera to its limit in video mode, but I figured there's probably some people out there who maybe don't want to sit through all of the sample footage and are just sitting there thinking like, dude, just tell me what to set my camera to. So this is that video, and I'm going to give you a little bit of context around why I choose each setting that I do, but mostly I'm just going to show you how to get the most out of your X100VI and not bother you too much with the specifics. I think that for a lot of people, this is a little camera that kind of can do video on the side, and maybe you don't want to become an expert in videography just to snap a quick clip or two. If that's you, stick around, listen up. This is how I set up my X100VI to get the absolute most power out of it that I possibly can. First things first, set that thing to boost mode. Normal mode should really probably be relabeled to like battery saver or economy mode. It's just kind of hamstringing your camera for the sake of battery life. It's just gonna allow your camera to function at its full potential. Next, switch over to movie mode in your drive settings. Don't try to change your movie settings from photography. You can technically, but it's much easier and much cleaner to do it in video mode. Once you're in video mode, pop over to your settings and find the movie setting list. This is where you're gonna see a whole bunch of numbers and resolutions and bit rates and log profiles and all kinds of stuff that is probably going to seem pretty daunting at first. Let's start with the top setting. Keep it easy. This is going to be your resolution and frame rate. I set mine to 4K HQ. That's going to be 4K footage downsampled from 6K. If you want the absolute best quality out of this camera, you technically should choose 6K. However, uploading things to the internet, I find 6K to be completely unnecessary, more taxing on your computer to edit and color grade, and more demanding in terms of hard drive space and SD card space. So I leave that on 4K HQ. That is going to have a 1.25 times crop. If you don't want any crop, you can bump it down to just regular 4K. You will lose a little, let's say, just quality doing that, but it's still 4K footage. It's still gonna look fantastic. The oversampled footage looks a little better, but again, for screens, you really can't go wrong with 4K or 4K HQ. Your next setting is going to be your frame rate. I record absolutely everything in 24 frames per second. I don't even do slow motion, 60 frames, anything like that. 24 just gives you that kind of like cinematic look. That's the frame rate that a lot of motion pictures, a lot of films use. Now, very quick tidbit, if you are a video beginner, one thing that you may not know is that the general rule of thumb for getting the best looking motion, this is again just kind of a bonus thing, take your frame rate. So if your frame rate is 24 frames per second, set your shutter speed to double that. So your shutter speed would be 1/48. Now, obviously that is a very slow shutter speed, which means that you're going to get a very bright image, and that's where a variable ND filter comes in. Oftentimes the built-in ND filter in the X100VI is not strong enough, so you have a couple options here. You can either invest in a variable ND filter and basically go all out on doing video with the X100VI, which is something I've done. It works great, and you can keep that shutter speed locked down at 1/48 and get that nice creamy motion blur. You can also just say, whatever, and up your shutter speed, up your aperture, and just have fun shooting video. Totally up to you. Now, if you go into the media record setting, the first one is probably going to be irrelevant. 99.9% of you are just going to record to the SD card in your camera. That's what I do too. The middle setting, I'm not going to try and break down in a lot of detail because it's really technical, but the setting that I would choose is H.265.422 MOV. Sounds like a lot. Basically what that means is you're getting the most colors possible that the camera is capable of producing. Last but not least, I would personally go with 200 megabits per second. That's obviously going to take a little more storage space, but I do think that if you're doing any kind of color grading, even if it's very basic, you do want as much information as possible, especially if you're going to record an F-Log2, which is what we're going to get to in a second here. Otherwise, if you don't plan to color grade and you just want to use like a film simulation, I wouldn't worry about it too much, and I would just do 50 or 100 to save on the file size. And that brings us to the very last setting that you need to kind of be aware of, which is your F-Log HLG, your color format settings. So the very first choice in the menu is going to be for, again, the beginners or just people who don't want to spend a ton of time in something like DaVinci Resolve. If you want the easiest possible workflow, just take advantage of Fuji's excellent color science, their film simulations, and record just with whichever one looks the best. If you do want to do some color grading, if you want to go a little more professional with it, I would highly recommend F-Log, not F-Log2. And there are a couple of reasons for this. People might argue with me. I think you should try both and figure out which one you like the best. Me personally, and this is the very subjective part of the conversation, conversation, prefer working with F-Log. I just like the end result better a lot of the time. And more than anything, I just find it easier to color grade. I just find F-Log 2 to be a little more finicky and a little more involved to get it looking really good. F-Log also has a much lower base ISO. So instead of F-Log 2's base ISO, which is 1250, necessitating a VND filter at that point, you have a base ISO of 500, which is just a little more manageable on a little point and shoot camera like the X100VI that was not meant to be a cinema camera or really a hybrid camera like that. And last but not least, I find that 200 megabits per second is like the bare minimum information that F-Log 2 needs to look good in post when you're color grading. I would argue that if you're going to use F-Log 2, you're better off using it in a camera like the X-H2s, which I'm recording on right now, where you can use a higher bit rate, or you can use the F-Log 2C profile, which I find a little easier to color grade in terms of skin tones and things like that. So that's it. Obviously, there's so much more to discuss. I'm running out of light because it's daylight savings. Hopefully, I kept this as manageable and beginner friendly and simple as possible. As always, I'll be back on Monday. Tune in. I'm really excited for this next video, and I'm honestly very proud of it. So go watch it so it doesn't flop. And I appreciate you as always. Have a great weekend, and I'll talk to you on Monday very soon.